So, Kahnawake Collective Impact. I'm Lou Ann Stacey. I have been with Collective Impact for 2.5 years. Prior to that, I worked at Mohawk Council for Sports and Recreation. Prior to that, I worked at KSES. I was a MAD group facilitator, a manager, a director, a number of different things, very active in the community. I am also an advocate and promoter for all of minor sports, pretty much in Kahnawake. I've been involved in almost all of them. That's my real passion. I loved coming to Collective Impact because we get to do lots of different things, new and creative things, and I think the most exciting part of it is getting to hand it over to another organization. So it's like giving birth to different kinds of things and then handing it off and someone else takes it, and I think that's been probably the most exciting part of the work that we do. And food sovereignty is probably the one that's going to be up and coming because we have a lot of really cool ideas for making food a priority in the community. So just a little bit. So we're going to do an overview of KCI and its history, highlights from the 24-25 annual report. And if you haven't seen it, we have copies of it for everyone. Audit review and key takeaways and a question and answer. So what is collective impact? And the bottom line is it's a proven way of working together across all sectors as a network of community leaders together to translate a community shared vision into reality. And actually it is a structure. We had gone to visit maybe about 2013, and it's an actual structure or system that's put in place to help communities mobilize, and it's a grassroots organization. So you work with some of the larger orgs or governments, and I think what excited me about it, and Carly knows I'm a little biased when it comes to New York, but they had done 2 collective impact projects in the Bronx. So I went to listen to it, and it was really fascinating because here they were inner city and the things that they were doing. So, you know, we started talking about, wow, what could we do here in our community? And it was absolutely exciting because the orgs do the org's job and it's government related kinds of things, but then a lot of things fall through the cracks. And sometimes you can't offer things, or your hands are bound by the way their funding goes, or this and that. So collective impact kind of puts a little bit different perspective in terms of allowing you to do things that are responsible to the community with the community and not have to have all that red tape. That's in essence what it comes down to. It's also been around the world to make positive change in a range of complex environmental and social issues. It has 5 conditions, and you have to have a common agenda. Continuous engagement and communication, shared measurement, mutually reinforcing activities, and a backbone support. So when you're looking at my team is the backbone support. Those are the people that would make it happen. A common agenda is the shared vision of change that we want to see and agreed upon plan for how we intend to get there. It was established in Kahnawake in 2017, and our Gonna Get Her name is Together We Look Ahead Beyond the Issues Currently in Front of Us. It's a grassroots long-term movement centered on belief in our ways. Sorry, my Mohawk's not great. Our purpose is to identify funding opportunities, gaps, overlaps, areas of alignment by building connections, fostering collaborations, and supporting community initiatives that promote overall wellness. A snapshot of our history. Actually in 2010, David Dunizakta had identified service gap affecting social assistance clients, lack of jobs, increasing numbers in social assistance. In 2011, there was a social policy created by the founding organization members. And those would be MCK, David Dunizakta, KSCS, and Education Center. 2013 to 17, an awareness campaign was launched. In 2018, the first steering committee was formed. In 2019, there was an open house, which the community participated and launched 6 initiatives. And the 6 initiatives were food sovereignty being the top one, holistic health and wellness for youth, language and culture, and then the other 3 that we haven't really worked on was Gatwadzade, which was a family program for prenatal. The other one was economic development, and then the final one was a plan for the community. At the time, what the community directed us was to work on the top 3 because they felt it was going to be a lot of work to do and not a lot of support for the small team that was there. In 2024, we had a 5-year strategic planning session, and again, the community gave us direction. In October 2024, an ad hoc committee was appointed to oversee and improve current governance and its necessary supports for future steering committee. And we actually have some of this ad hoc committee, Derek, Guyanis, Tammy, and Marnie's around here somewhere. Oh, there we go, she moved. They're part of the ad hoc committee that did the work on the second part of this presentation that you'll receive. What are some of our current projects that we did in our annual report? We had an agricultural showcase series where community members were involved in various forms of agriculture, were profiled, and contributed towards the community. Tyson had gone and interviewed several of the places, and we had the video showing so people could see what was going on in the community. We also had the Seed Conference, a 3-day gathering with like-minded individuals who are passionate about food sovereignty related to practices of knowledge and sharing. And then several engagements via surveys throughout the community were conducted to see what the community wanted in terms of food sovereignty and food security. And one of those things that had come up, and it's in our plan for the future, was that a lot of community members wanted to see tool sharing. People were starting to get back into gardening and planting and thought it would be a good idea if we could have several kinds of tools and machines and things available for the community use instead of people buying their own tillers and different kinds of things. So that would be one of the projects that's in the works or we're thinking about doing in the future. In terms of language and culture, we had a mentorship program handoff to the Cultural Center. It was our first pilot project from 2021 that actually found a home. I was very fortunate because I had just started here and I got to go to their year-end dinner in the second group and to watch them speak and talk to each other, the elders and the mentors and the mentees. It was absolutely amazing. And I couldn't believe that they had done this project twice and had done such a really great job, and you know, it got them to work hard, and then they were coming up with some additional ideas, and the Cultural Center had approached us and said they were ready to take it back on. So it birthed it with us and then was handed off to the Cultural Center, and they started their new program actually this past September. We did the handoff actually in just July. We did it here, and it was pretty cool to know that we had started some kind of project. Oh, we also did workshop series on men's and women's moon ceremony teachings, and we had about 100 people in attendance at the Longhouse, the Mohawk Trail. Holistic health and wellness for youth. We had a positive ticket campaign in collaboration with the PKs, KSCS, and ourselves. We also had many donations from different organizations and people, and they were given Shop Ganawagi gift certificates for the youth, and it was pretty cool, and it was youth being recognized for the acts of kindness, leadership, and positivity, and it was interesting because we got a lot of people who participated in it. And then there's the Ganawage 4-H Club, which had offered youth and their family hands-on learning, focusing on land-based and cultural teachings. We had, if I'm not mistaken, 15 youth, and most of them were family, because it was supposed to be just with youth, and then family wanted to get involved, so we combined it was youth and family. So it ended up being a really good thing. And I think what was interesting is that these people wanted to learn everything about planting, and it brought me back to when I was a kid, that everybody had gardens. We didn't. We were from New York, so we didn't have, but our neighbors, and I would go hang out with my neighbors and help here and help there, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And having young kids wanting to do that, it was absolutely amazing. And they did some field trips. They went to some local farms in Huntington and Ormstown. We got invited by some resource people that we have, and it was a really, really good project. So we're at the audit, and I just wanted to share a couple of notes about the finances. Everything that we get for finance, we have to proposal write. We don't have, the only kind of funding that we have that's solid until 2027 is from the government. It's called IIF fund. That's the only thing that we receive because it was in a block kind of funding, but everything else we proposal write. According to the statement, our audit revenue was $1,046,232. Our audit expenses were $774,314, a surplus of $271,918. All of the surpluses are restricted in use for 25-26 because we got funding from different foundations, and the money was allocated for a specific project or specific thing, and then we asked if we could keep it to hand on to the next year, and most of them were in agreement. So that's how we ended up with that. And it's actually not that much. So the deferrals that were restricted funds was the IIF, $27,151. DAWA was $224,200. KSCS was $429, and actually that was from the seed conference. We had extra money. We had put a larger amount, and some people backed out and traveled, so we ended up with a little bit extra money. That was turned into another project on actually food, vegetable baskets from now till the end of the winter time. So we're trying another project. Other is, and most of these are tied into each of the projects, so it's either food sovereignty, language and culture, or holistic health and wellness. And audit surplus balance is $271,945, but most of it's already planned for things that we're doing this year, so it should come out to a zero balance. And I just wanted to explain that the funds are restricted and should have been deferred to utilize, and this year restricted for specific use. I explained that. After adjustments, the balance will be zero, and KCI should not have shown a surplus, but the auditors didn't consult with us prior to producing the audit, and this will be rectified in the new audit. And that's it.